It's me, Akasha, and today I want to talk about something kind of cool, and it's quantum physics. Yeah, quantum physics, man. I've been feeling a lot of judgment, not only from others but from myself, questioning, is everything I believe in real? And so I had to go backtrack on how I came upon my spiritual beliefs, and it all started with quantum physics. It didn't all start. We know about Edwin Schrödinger and his cat and the experiment that he had. It was an imaginary cat that he put in an imaginary box with an imaginary time bomb, and the time bomb or the bomb had a 50% chance of going off and killing the cat before we open the box and see what happened to the cat. And basically, according to Schrodinger, what he says is that until the observer observes the result, the cat is in a state of superposition, which means that it's both dead and alive. The state of superposition is important. I'm going to come back to that, okay? Schrodinger said that the total number of minds in the universe is one. Carl Jung coined the term collective unconsciousness to describe this one mind. He said, the psyche possesses a common substratum, transcending all differences in culture and consciousness. And this is what he called the collective unconscious. The awakening of the human race is the transition between the collective unconscious to
the collective consciousness.
We are becoming conscious. We are developing we consciousness, unity consciousness. Some would call it Christ consciousness, and the reason why we would go so far as to call it Christ consciousness is because it's God consciousness, and realizing unity consciousness, collective consciousness, Christ consciousness is not just a reading, oh look, this is what Carl Jung said, I believe it. That doesn't mean that you have unity consciousness. Realizing the one mind it happens on a spiritual level because the realization transforms us. And this is the awakening. This is the activation of the light body, the Merkaba, the awakening of the human race. We are awakening out of necessity, okay? So I'm not going to talk about the age of Aquarius or the astrological alignments. We are awakening out of necessity. If you look at evolution, the reason, the purpose, the whole point of evolution is survival. The first humanoids became humanoids because of the element of survival. If you study anthropology, the first humanoid came out of Africa because in Africa the conditions were so harsh that they had to evolve. And that's also why you see people who have gone through really difficult times kind of turn out to be, they either like fall and become and just like let the circumstance kind of control them and they kind of devolve, or they rise up and they evolve. Like intelligence is born out of this place of the need to survive, and that's where the human race is. We look at the state of the world and and how greed and racism and ethnocentrism is really tearing us apart, and there is no way that we can go on like this. And so the only way for us to survive is to realize this oneness, the one mind of the universe. The collective unconscious has to wake up, because that's the only way we are going to survive. Carl Jung also talked about synchronicity being the acasual relationship between coinciding events that don't have casual connections. They are connected via meaning. They're meaningful. So Carl Jung was with a client, and the client was talking about this beetle. I don't remember the exact species, but it was one of those big old beetles that appeared in her dream. And as she was talking about it, this exact same beetle like flew into his office and landed on like a bookcase or something. And Carl Jung saw that there was a connection, that this was not merely coincidence. And coincidence is, there's a double meaning to coincidence. When we say, oh, it's just a coincidence, what we really mean is that there's no real connection, but the real meaning of coincidence is that it coincides in a meaningful way. And so Carl Jung called it synchronicity. The one mind explains psychic phenomena as human beings awaken and realize the one mind, realize this connection. We also see the meaningfulness. We are making more acasual connections as we view the world, because we are perceiving through the God mind. And so every awakened individual has access to the God mind. Every awakened individual experiences psychic phenomena such as synchronicity, and we are connected. Two awakened individuals in God mind have the same mind. All right, so now that we understand a little bit more about how quantum physics plays into the role of what's happening on Earth right now. Why are we waking up? Why are we experiencing synchronicity and psychic phenomena? Why is it that we're awakening right now? Let's go a step further and talk about quantum entanglement. I believe that twin flames understand quantum entanglement more than quantum physicists do. Quantum physicists understand very little about quantum entanglement. Okay, first of all, let me say that quantum entanglement is being observed every single day in laboratories around the world. What they're observing is that when two particles are quantumly entangled, here's particle A, here's particle B, they could be right next to each other, or they could be, this particle could be like in the Andromeda galaxy, this particle could be on the other side of the universe. Distance doesn't make a difference. What happens to this particle affects this particle. So say this particle is being observed with a spin up, and it's just a term to describe how particles behave, and then this particle would be observed having spin down. But they're both in superposition until the observer observes one. So I say, okay, I'm gonna look at this one. Boom, it's spin up. I automatically know that this one's spin down. But this one is not spin down until this one is observed, the spin up. So the observer, through observation, determines the state of not just one, but both particles in quantum entanglement. And through various experiments, another thing scientists understand is that there's no hidden information. There's no hidden code within the entangled particles. So it's not like there's a secret information where they say, okay, so I'm going to spin up here's the pattern I'm going to spin up, and here's the pattern you're going to spin down, and we're always going to go by this information. That doesn't exist. The particles are entangled, and no one knows why. No one understands why. The scientists are like dumbfounded, like this is absurd. Einstein called it spooky. Oh, I don't remember what Einstein called it. That doesn't matter. Einstein was freaked out about it too because it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. All we know is that this is what is. So I want to address a question in the twin flame community, and that question is, how do I know this person is my twin? The answer is you are quantumly entangled with this person. And because in the past, we see these videos or a list of, oh, how do I know this person's my twin? Well, you're gonna feel familiar. There's psychic connection. 90% of the things on this list that is identifiable, that we identify our twin flame, it could also be used to identify just a soulmate, which means that this list is crap. The one thing, in my opinion, in my experience, from what I see, that differentiates soulmates from twin flames is that twin flames are in a state of quantum entanglement and soulmates are not. So there are many ways we can observe quantum entanglement between twin flames. And my favorite is the masculine-feminine shift. When my twin steps into masculine energy, I automatically step into the feminine. We don't have to communicate about this. We don't have to be in the same room. Anytime I am in the feminine, she is in the masculine. And you can observe this when you're with your twin. You can consciously step into the opposite energy and see how that other person responds. That person might not even be conscious of what's happening. Another way is when you look at imbalance. Okay, so according to science, when this particle is observed having a spin up in a spin up state, this particle is automatically in a spin down state. So we look at the imbalance between twins. If my twin is addicted to coffee and she's observing in addiction to coffee, here I am on the other end looking at a cup of coffee thinking how much I want to fucking drink it, but I can't because it just, my entire system gets fucked up off of just a little bit of coffee. I mean, even decaf. I can drink decaf. There's a little bit of caffeine in decaf and it fucking throws my system off. But I can drink black tea. I can drink black tea lattes every single day. I've been doing it. And it doesn't have the same effect. Because my twin is not addicted to black tea lattes. Do you understand? So, seeing as there's this, there's the extreme. When one twin is experiencing this extreme, the other twin is experiencing this extreme. That's why balance is where union happens, because when the extremes are healed through balance. So if I decided to drink coffee, despite the effect it had on me, if I decided to drink 1 cup of coffee every day, how would that affect my twin's addiction to coffee? It's a pretty cool experiment. You can run these experiments with your twin flame, and you don't even have to have your twins. You don't even have to like do it with your twin. You can just do it, and see what happens. We seek balance in all things, because when we choose balance, when this particle is balanced, this particle is balanced too. And that's really the quantum explanation of how union is achieved. Okay, according to quantum physics, there's only one mind in the universe, that we are all one and we are all connected. And according to Carl Jung, the human race is mostly unconscious of this collective, but we are awakening. And I do recall the 99 monkeys experiment. Have you heard of it? Okay. Had a bunch of monkeys on an island, and they were dropping sweet potatoes on the island. And the monkeys were picking up the sweet potatoes and eating it, but there was dirt all over it. But it didn't occur to them to wash it off. Finally, one young monkey decided to take the potato to the water and wash off the dirt. Little by little, the young monkeys started doing the same thing. Little by little, more and more monkeys started doing the same thing. They started washing off these potatoes. But the older generation, they're more resistant to change, right? The mind is like, the neuropaths have already been set. It's hard. So while the young monkeys are doing the new thing, the older monkeys are still eating dirty, conservative, potatoes. They're still like, yeah. However, one day there was observed a threshold. A certain number of monkeys, one day, that threshold was breached, and where one monkey decided to wash their potato, to join the others and wash their potato. And this was a specific number. I don't know what the number is. The generic number is 99 or 100. So the 100th monkey washed his potato, and instantly all of the monkeys, even the older monkeys, picked up the new habit. So what does that mean? It means that when enough of us awaken, the entire human race will awaken. So don't be discouraged when you look at the older generation and think, well, my parents are never going to change their ways. Our parents might not be around when this threshold is breached, but it's happening, and it's happening at an accelerated pace. So there you have it. That is metaphysics, really. Know that our spiritual beliefs are not crazy just because most people don't understand it. Not even scientists understood. Do you get that? Like Buddha understood the properties of an atom like thousands of years before the microscope was invented, through consciousness. I am a fool. I am a fool. I'm such a fucking fool that I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And the more I study, the more I seek truth, the more I realize that I know nothing. So there you have it, guys. I don't know shit. But I'm not